Hey, this is Mike with DRUMline. I'm with an amazing band. I saw a couple years ago their One-Eyed Doll, and I didn't get a chance to interview them, but they came back to town just so I could interview them and play at the Firebird and show their off their emojis. But anyway, I'm with Junior and Kimberly. So you guys are a duo, and I don't know how you guys pull it off, but explain how you function as a duo.
I'm a frog.
Yeah, and I'm a salamander.
Okay.
And so
Basically, we can survive in water and land combination.
and Kimberly plays guitar with her tongue, actually. You know, frogs have really long tongues.
Right, because I have to catch flies.
Mm-hmm. And and you might know, like, you know, a lot of bands have one guy who's just singing, another guy who's just playing guitar. But Kimberly does both of those.
That's because we're amphibians. We can multitask.
Yeah. Amphibians can breathe underwater and above water. And a lot of bands, metal bands, have like a bass player, but usually you can't hear the bass anyway because the guitar's so loud and bassy and stuff. So Kimberly actually plays her guitar more like a bass than a guitar to me. And so we have that low end, jun, 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 crunchy. And so you really get like if you listen to like Pantera or AC/DC or something like that, all the elements are there: low, bassy guitar, drums, vocals. That's a really simple format of music rock and roll is. So other than maybe, you know, some shredding guitar solo or something, but Kimberly has been doing some pretty sweet guitar solos live lately, and a couple on the records too.
I'm
I've
just
noticed.
Messing around. It's nothing cool.
Okay, the first time I saw you guys, I didn't know that you were the opening act or anything, and I was like, what did I just see? I was like, I shot you because you were all over the place with the energy, and I was like, I got the best rock and roll shots like of anything I've ever shot, and it was just so bizarre to be like it's hard to focus and shoot a photograph when you want to see the band.
Oh, that's so
you know,
sweet.
but I mean, I'll show you all those pictures, and I'll take some more tonight. But oh my God, I was just like, I was interviewing a band afterwards, and I was like, what was up with that One-Eyed Doll band? I have not seen anything like that. So, I mean, you said something like you're a wet pup or an angry puppy or something on stage, or you just
Angry puppy?
or no, not an angry puppy. What did you say in an interview? They're like a horse running, or I don't know. What did you say?
I've said a lot of stupid things on camera. I don't know. It could have been anything, really. But it's, you know, it's my happy place. I just get, I guess the show energizes me, and I have so much fun. It's hard to contain myself. I guess that's about all there is to that.
Well, we just got warmed up. Here's a part I really wanted to talk about. I got warmed up. You guys created a masterpiece in my mind. It's called Witches. And you told me at NAMM that there was a heavy part and a kind of a quieter interlude and then a heavy part. And to me, I mean, that's like a rock opera, that album. And it's also like a complete concept album from A to B. There's like there's a lot of songs that are great kind of by themselves, but nothing is as good as listening to the whole thing. You know,
It was written and recorded as one song, really. You know,
was it? Okay, that's
yeah, because from my perspective, she came to me with this song, "A Rope for Mary," and we were actually kind of studying music theory at the time, and we had you know, kind of just refreshing ourselves on all the different modes and scales and stuff like that, and she went to go practice. Just I think it was like the minor pentatonic scale or something like that, and she came back with this song, "A Rope for Mary."
Yeah, see, this is what happens. I'm supposed to be practicing something or learning something, and then I just write a song instead. I get sidetracked. And
Yeah,
that's why I'm no good at, you know, stuff.
Oh, whatever. And so that's the best thing if you can learn something new and then create a song from it. So, but literally, you know, this was about Mary Esty, who is you know, one of the accused in the Salem witchcraft hysteria, and she went back and while I was like, we got to record that now. We put down the scratch tracks for it. I was like, this is really great. That riff is really cool. And we put down that riff, and then I think she came back right after that with like Black in the Rye and More Weight or something. And there was two other songs that were also about the Salem witchcraft hysteria.
Right, just because I happened to read Mary Esty's story. You know, Rope for Mary just kind of naturally came out because I just wanted to tribute her and what she had been through, and then I kept reading So we laid that down just to not forget it, basically. And then while Jason was kind of working with that, I went back to the bus, which we were living in the bus at the time. And I just,
where we are right now.
well, I kept reading about Mary and the situation surrounding her death and the culture that she lived in and Puritanism and the Salem witchcraft hysteria. And I just was inspired to write another song and another song and another song. And every time I came back to Jason with another song, I'd go back and I just write another one because it just felt right. And the more I read, the more I felt like I needed to write. It just came really naturally like that. And so it did kind of come out as one piece of music. And so we ended up recording it that way. We're like, this is just one long song. And so yeah, and it's meant to be listened to in one sitting. It's really best in one sitting because it tells a story, like, theater or watching a movie maybe. And that's the best way to listen to this album. I appreciate the compliments on that. That means a lot. I feel like you really dug into it and listened to it, so thanks.
It's kind of cool, the story, and I mean, the way you give, I don't even want to give too much away about the record, but I will say that you can look at it literally, and then you can also internalize it, and you can have your own experience of, like, maybe I was oppressed and now I have freedom. Maybe I took a little bit of a beating, but there's some resolution maybe at the end. So it's kind of it was a freeing record. It was scary as hell. There's some graphic, torture, and there's some intensity with that. And one more thing that's interesting is you being a producer, knowing what to play and what not to play, and the dynamics. I mean, a lot of drummers are good producers, but you play that kind of that dual role. So talk about that.
Yeah. Well, I'm a producer first. I'm not even a drummer. She just made me play drums in the band. The first year of being in this band, I was a terrible drummer.
That's not true.
Oh yeah, I was really bad.
So good right out of the box.
But we play every day pretty much. Like, especially right when I first started playing, we had shows constantly, and so I feel like it took me a good year and a half before there's that, because I'm a guitar player. So when I play guitar, I don't think about it. It's just the notes are in my head and they come out of my fingertips. And it took me like a year and a half of playing the drums before I could stop thinking about what my hands were doing and what my body was doing, and I could just think about the groove and then let that go. So now I feel like I'm more, it's direct from my brain out into sound.
The amount of the coordination required for that is just ridiculous. Like, mad respect to all you drummers out there who can just emote through every limb of your body. It's ridiculous.
Well, to me the most important, like, when I listen to music, what I like is the vocal melody first. I feel like you have to, as a producer, I try to accentuate the vocal melody. And then I really love harmonies. And so that's kind of the second element to the music. And then everything else, is there to kind of accentuate those things. So, whenever I write a drum part, I try to write a hooky, catchy drum part or something that really works with the vocal melody. And I feel like, there's a lot of drummers like Lars Ulrich from Metallica that I think they don't write technically, like, difficult or any particularly physically taxing parts, but they're perfect for the song.
Right, they're emotive.
Yeah.
It helps to bring the emotion through.
And Tommy Lee, I saw an interview with him early on where Tommy Lee's a great drummer, but in Motley Crue, he kind of plays really simple parts. And his parts are always there to accentuate the vocal melody. And that, to me, I learned a lot from that. So coming from the perspective of a producer, I record a lot of bands, and the drummers are just doing something almost in their own world. They're playing something that has nothing to do with the song. So I wanted to make sure that I only very rarely do that. Still, sometimes, we'll do things that will be unsettling on purpose. It's like sometimes you want to go against the grain just to make something kind of crazy sounding, But when there's a good melody, I don't want to get in the way of that. So
I don't want to analyze your drumming because, but I will say that if you took something away from Witches or adding something, it wouldn't make it any better or worse. Like, exactly what to play when things are happening, because you have the visual image of the story through the drums. Like, more weight is the guy's getting crushed.
Right.
You know, and you're adding more weight, and there's
Right.
more weight to the drumming.
Right.
I mean, that's an easy translation for that one, but the whole record is like that. I mean, it wrote for Mary, just a little jazzy kind of feel, and you feel like you're in that situation. You couldn't have that without the dynamics, all those emotions, and the intensity, and then the lack of intensity, and I guess
Right.
knowing what to play and when not to play. It's like a true musicianship. And you guys, I think you guys were a great rock band. I saw you guys, you're a great rock band. I think you graduated to epic, like, songwriters and, like, producers and, like, theatrical wizards. I mean, it's just, to me, I was like, that's the best record since, I'm listing, like, Tommy, and I'm thinking The Wall, and I'm thinking Rush did Clockwork Angels, and I'm like, none of those bands, even in those, as great as those records are, they aren't as precise and concise and direct as that record. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the perfect story record, and you guys did it. I mean, I think it's gonna, for me, it's gonna be like, I just can't. I'll listen to it in 10 years, and I'll be like, I remember the first time I heard that record. So, I know I just like super like told you how much I love your record, but I mean you got to listen to the record if you get a chance. Did I go too much there? I don't know.
I'm really happy that there's at least a few people that love the album as much as we do. We really love the album. When we were finished with it,
did we just do?
Yeah, when we were finished with it, I was like, because she wrote it in 3 days, and then we were off recording it. And it was pretty much, other than just like little mixing tweaks, it was done. And I just kind of sat back and went like, how did that even happen? And
the situation we were in environmentally when we were recording it wasn't a real, it wasn't easy either. So production-wise, it happened just way faster than it really should have. It was just sort of, Witches is a good example of when Jason and I are just left to ourselves, what kind of stuff that we do. There's a lot of music that we have that people haven't heard yet that's a lot more like that, that we haven't been able to release yet for whatever reason. But yeah, Witches is a little peek into, the other stuff that you haven't gotten yet. And it was sort of just like a screw anybody who doesn't get it. It's going to be over a lot of people's heads, guaranteed. Right now the attention span of music listeners is a lot shorter than it was in the 70s when you could really release a concept album. But we were just like, we're doing this for us. If they get it, they get it. If not, fine. We have lots of other albums that people can listen to and shuffle through and whatever, a lot of silly songs and stuff like that. But this is something it just felt right. And we shoved it ahead of the album that was supposed to come out next. So that'll be out next. And
some version of it.
Yeah, we just really wanted to put it out and the way that we wanted it, and it's been really good. And I love that album, and it would never have happened without Dark Side of the Moon and The Wall, and some of the albums that you listed were huge for both of us, and really inspired us to take this and turn it into what it is. So we're sort of also just trying to pay tribute to some of our influences with that.
I don't know how you're going to top it, but I'm going to say very selfishly, top it, do something similar, because I want to hear it. I want to know, can these guys outdo their masterpiece?
Hey,
it's all downhill from
yeah,
me.
Yeah. I'm not really like that's. We're not going to try to top it. We're just going to put out whatever feels good next, and it might be a totally different kind of album. It might just be a bunch of cool songs. If I feel like doing another concept, I will, but I'm not going to seek that out. It's just whatever kind of inspiration hits me at the time it's just what's going to come out. So I've got the next record we have sort of calculated in our heads right now. We've got a lot of it finished already. So, you can tell us whether it's topped or not.
Well, it's a little gem, and if anybody ever touches that record, I'm like, I think I need to buy another one just in case something happens. My dog eats it or something.
Probably should get a couple more. Yeah.
I get a couple more copies. I did pay for it, but I would have paid more for it. So you screwed up because you only charged me market rate. But
it to you for free.
He was trying to give it to me for free, and I was like, I can't take it. I knew I couldn't take it. Isn't it? I felt something off the record. It's like because I looked at the cover, and I was like, oh my god, that's like the best cover ever. And then I don't know how you guys. I don't know how you could do anything better. But anyway, I got one more question for you.
I gotta be
Or you could kick me out at any point.
I have to be honest. I'm a little nervous about the next thing because I feel like we have raised the bar a bit. So we're gonna be in there trying to make some really cool songs.
We just make what we make. I'm not worried.
It's harder to stay at the top than to get there. But anyway, did you feel like you were channeling in the inspiration of that song? Like you were maybe a little bit. You felt that the inspiration you said, and was that kind of a different, higher level of experience for you as writing? Because you were writing, it was coming through you. Did you feel that? As opposed to maybe, struggling to make it work?
Yeah, it was absolutely natural, and it did feel kind of like I was just channeling that, and it just flowed right out. And I remember the lead vocal session was we only had one day in an actual studio on this album, which only ended up being a couple hours.
Yeah, that's where we did all the lead vocals. We went to a studio that had all the really nice equipment for the lead vocals.
So we did all the lead vocals basically in one session. And it was just whatever was going to come out, came out. And it just happened spontaneously. A lot of the parts were just really spontaneous. And a lot of them were just one take. So I did feel like it was just flowing through me.
Yeah, when she recorded Stillness, that was the first take. We only did one take on that song because, she did it, and I was like, that was it. I had goosebumps. I was like, we're done. Next song. It's like I don't know if you've seen Tenacious D. They're like, next song. I was just like, that's it.
Done.
Next song. One take.
We're doing this Stillness, and I wasn't thinking about getting my part right or hitting the notes right or anything like that. It was the first time that I had really sang that song all the way through, and I was just so feeling the tribute to those people who were murdered in 1692, and I was just so sad for them and passionate for that, and just what came out. I was crying a little,
There's still witch hunts going on today, and we're seeing a lot of it. With if you just turn on the news and all of the politics is like, there's a lot of similarities going on right now that you can just turn on the TV and you can see a very significant portion of Americans wanting to demonize someone based on their religion or their race or, their financial status. And, we need reminders constantly. This is, some people have said, people sing about witchcraft trials all the time. Why did you do something that, has already been told? It's like, well, we need to hear it over and over again because clearly the message hasn't gotten across yet, and younger people, our audience, people, they need to hear that story over and over again. Everybody can hear the story of the witchcraft trials and think that was ridiculous that they did that. And then now, they're supporting people who are basically conducting witch hunts right now. So,
well, Rush did Witch Hunt, and I've seen movies about it, but if you want to feel like you were there and it was happening, you got to listen to Witches. These guys are amazing. Okay, I got to let you go because you're very popular. Other people want to interview you. But I'm going to see you live. I'm going to shoot you live. I'm going to put photographs up. And we're going to experience an incredible thing. I got one last thing. How much of Witches do you play in the show tonight?
I plan on 3 songs from Witches tonight. We'll see how it goes. Every night's different. We go with the flow. But on the set list, I think we'll do hopefully 3.
Okay, play it start to finish. Change your set list.
We have a
No, no, that's okay. All right, thank you very much for your time. I'm going to get out of here.
All right.
And I'm looking forward to seeing you live.
Thank you.
Okay.